Graphing word problems requiring inequalities. To graph a word problem that uses inequalities, we have several steps we need to do. First, you need to write a system of inequalities. The system of inequalities will have the form of the brackets, and then you'll have some equation, and then an inequality sign, and then a total. Then you'll have to have another one probably, and you will always have the inequalities x is greater than or equal to 0 and y is greater than or equal to 0, at least in most cases, because usually with word problems you cannot have a negative number. You can't have negative amounts, so you got to be positive the whole time. So that's the first thing you have to do. The second thing to do is to actually graph them. Well, we already know how to graph inequalities, how to shade anyway, from the previous material. However, to graph them, we're going to have standard form equations in many cases, which means the x and y will be on the same side. So if we want to graph it, when x and y are on the same side, then you set, for the x-intercept, set y equal to 0, and for the y-intercept, you're going to set x equal to 0. And this is a repeat of material that we've already gone over. We already know how to graph in standard form. We're just going to have application sense to it now. So let's do some examples where we have to write a system of inequalities and then graph. Okay, so the first part here, an interior decorator is going to remodel a kitchen. The tiled area above the stove is 3 feet by 4 feet. So 3 by 4, that would be 12 feet squared. Okay, so that's just information that we have so far. The wallpapered, so this is tile. We should probably write that. Okay, and then we have the wallpaper area is above the counter, and it is 3 feet by 8 feet. So 3 by 8, so that would be 24 square feet. So those two numbers will probably come in handy. The owners can spend $420 or less. Write an inequality for the possible prices of the tile and the wallpaper area. Okay? So we're going to write an inequality. First thing we need to know is we know that our tile has to be greater than or equal to 0. So I'm going to call my x-axis my tile. And then my y has to be greater than or equal to 0, and that's going to be, my y is going to be my wallpaper. Okay, has to be greater than or equal to 0. So I'm just going to graph that right now. Now I need to figure out how much I can get. I don't know the prices. I want to find the possible prices of the tile and the wallpaper. Okay, so that would mean however much tile I need, which is 12 square feet of tile, so 12x, plus my wallpaper, which is 24 square feet, times however much my wallpaper cost, has to be less than or equal to $420, because that's all the owners have. So that's your system of inequalities. Sometimes you'll have more of these types of equations, but in this case we only have the one. So we have our x is greater than or equal to 0, or y is greater than or equal to 0. So if I were to graph that, y is greater than or equal to 0, so that I know I have to shade up, and my x is greater than or equal to 0, so I shade that direction. Now I have to figure out how to graph the other one. So to graph this one, I'm going to use my standard form equation right here, and I'm going to substitute in. So I'm going to take 12x plus 24 times 0 equals 420. So when I do that, I'm going to divide, that cancels out to 0, divide by 12. So x equals 35. And then, so that's my x-axis. So if I go up by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and so on. Then I get my x is equal to 35. So I'm going to put my point right there on the 35. And then I need to find the other part. So 12 times 0 plus 24 times y equals 420. And that would give me y equals 17.5. So again, if I go by 5s, then 17.5 is in between the 15 and the 20, right in the middle. And then I connect my lines. So my line is connect my dots right here, so right there. And it has to be less than that. They cannot spend more than that. So my intersection is right there. And that's your final answer. For this next one, for a party you can spend no more than $12 on nuts. So I know that it has to be less than or equal to $12. And peanuts cost $2, so $2 for my peanuts. So I'm going to say my x is my peanuts. And then plus my cashews, which are $4. So $4 for my y. And those are cashews. Alright, and then I know again I can't have a negative number, so x has to be greater than or equal to y has to be greater than or equal to 0. So I know it's got to be greater than or equal to 0 here, greater than or equal to 0 here, and then I solve right there. So 2x plus 4 times 0 equals 12. So I divide by 2, and x equals 6. So I'm going to plot that. And then I do the other one. So 2 times 0 plus 4 times y equals 12. So y, if I divide by 4, equals 3. And then I connect those 2 points. And this is my intersection. And that's your final answer. And my last example here. Suppose you can spend no more than $20 for hot dogs. So we can spend $20 or less on hot dogs and hamburgers. So if I call hot dogs my x, and hamburgers my y, so I have hot dogs cost $5 per package, so 5 times x, plus hamburgers cost $8 per package, 8y. And again, you can't have a negative number of hot dogs or a negative number of hamburgers, so your x and y have to be greater than or equal to 0. So that tells me that I'm going to shade up and over. Now I just need to find my intersection of the rest of it. So 5x plus 8 times 0 is equal to 20. cancels out to 0, divide by 5, and x equals 4. So I'm going to put a point on the 4. And then I have 5 times 0 plus 8y equals 20. Cancel out to 0, divide by 8, and y equals 2.5. So I'm going to graph 2.5 right in the middle there, and then I connect my 2 points. So this would be my intersection. So anywhere in there is the amount of hot dogs and hamburgers you can buy. So those are your notes on how to set up inequality word problems and then go on and graph them. In the next lesson you will learn how to figure out what the best deal is, how you can get the most for what you have. And that'll be called optimization problems. You can go through those practice problems after the next video and then take your quiz over this material.